So let's take a look at how to get some other stock market data from internet using the API access to certain websites from this Power BI desktop. Okay. So last time I introduced a website called profit.com. There's actually a lot of similar data sets you can access stock market data and fundamental data. Okay. More or less, they're similar. You have a free account which allow you limited access. If you want to more kind of expand your kind of daily access limit, you need to have a paid account. But anyways, I'm not endorsing any of those websites. I'm just telling you there's a possibility you can access data easily nowadays. So go to more and the business solutions and data API, and go to explore docs. So here's the documentation, and it basically tells you it will give you a sample URL, and you can just copy and paste into your Power BI desktop to access their data. So let's go to here, the market data. All right, and they have historical daily data, historical intraday data, and code data. So I'm mainly interested in historical daily data. And here's a sample request. Basically, that's a URL you want to copy and paste. All right, so I'll just click here and copy it. Instead of paste it in here, okay, you can go to Power BI desktop, go to home, get data, and the web. Okay, basically you can copy this this URL and paste it here. Okay, but to kind of illustrate the point, I want to actually paste it here in a notebook so I can explain what this URL looks like. So I just paste it here. Okay, so this is the sample URL, and you can see the first part of this URL is pretty kind of standard. This tells you what kind of URL address you try to access. Okay, I'm basically trying to access profit.com, their data API. I want their market data. I want their historical daily data. All right. Then after this, the first part of this URL, then you need to specify your kind of information you wanted to access. Okay. So here you can see TSLA. That's basically Tesla's ticker, the Tesla symbol. All right. So you can access Tesla's daily data. Okay. And also here, following this question mark, there's a token equals your API key. So basically you need to apply for a free account and get a personal API key, and you post it right here to replace this part, okay, with your personal API key. Then profit.com will allow your access to gather data. Okay, you cannot just use this. Okay, this is just kind of a placeholder. You have to replace this with your personal API key. All right. Now following this, there's other parameters. Here is the start date. So in this sample URL, the start date is 2024 October 3rd, and the end date is 2024 October 10th. Basically, the sample URL only provides you 1 week trading data, but of course you can expand your duration. All right, so you can easily change your parameters. For example, instead of you want a Tesla, you probably want Apple, AAPL. So just replace Tesla with AAPL, okay? And the starting date I can have, instead of 2024, I want to have January 1st. So this is January 1st, 2023. End date is going to be, I'm going to keep 2024 October 10th. So basically you can change, okay, the kind of the second half of this URL address, and basically put in the information you wanted, okay, to access from the profit.com's website. All right. So once you have done this, you have seen I changed the ticker symbol. Okay. I also has changed the start date and end date. I didn't make any other changes. Okay. Make sure you keep this this structure as intact as possible. Only change the information you want to change. Don't touch other parts of this URL. Okay. And lastly, I'm going to replace my URL API key with my personal ones. Okay. Then I'm going to copy this entire URL into Power BI desktop. Once you have the URL, go to Home, Get Data, Web, and just paste that URL here and click OK. All right, I have already adjusted the start date, the end date, also the ticker. I want Apple instead of Tesla. Okay, I also paste my personal API key here. Remember to do that. Then click OK. Then the data starts loading from the profit.com, and eventually you will see the data. All right. So here we have basically Apple's trading information from January 2023 all the way to the current time. Okay, and here's several columns from that data, and the first column is basically a timestamp. Okay, eventually we have to convert those kind of strange numbers into a date time format, so you can see easily which date is corresponding to. Okay, now it's just a very kind of noisy number. Okay, and here the O, this column stands for opening price. This is high price, low price, closing price, trading volume, and adjusted closing price. Okay, so we can do some adjustments of those column names and make them more informative. So let's change those column headers to be more informative. So I'm calling this timestamp, and this is gonna be open, high, low, close. Well, you just need to double click on the header and it will allow you to change the header name. Adjusted, close. One more thing, this timestamp, as I said, it's a strange number. It's just showing the duration in the unit of seconds, okay, from the starting point. However, the starting point is not explicitly shown in this data set. The starting point by default is January 1st, 1970. All right. So to show the current time, you basically need to start at 1970. January 1st, 1970, and add this duration to the starting time. Then it will kind of skip this duration and goes to the current time. All right. So adding this many of seconds to January 1st, 1970 will basically get you to the current date. All right, let's do that. So I'm going to convert this timestamp column into another column, which is more informative, telling me directly what is the current date. All right, so to do that, I'm going to go under add column. I have a custom column. All right, and I'm going to define a new column. I'll call it date. All right, and I'm using some Power BI functions here. Okay, it's very intuitive. So the first function is the date function. You basically need to tell Power BI what's a year, what's a month, what's a day to specify this particular starting point. So I'm going to use 1970. 1. So basically that's January 1st, 1970. Okay, so the second argument is the month. The third argument is the day of the month. Okay, the first one, of course, is the year. So basically this date function specifies now I'm at the date January 1st, 1970. And now I'm going to add a duration so that I will start from 1970, January 1st. And after adding this duration, I'm going to skip to the current date. So the duration is going to be this duration function. And you need to start with 3 zeros and then followed by this timestamp. Okay, so the timestamp including the pair of brackets basically tells you I'm using this data column as argument for this duration function. All right, and as I said again, this duration function basically tells me how many seconds has elapsed since January 1st, 1970. So this adding these two together, adding the starting point and the number of seconds elapsed since the starting point, will tell me what's the current date. All right. So now let me click on OK. So now I have the date. See, this is the January 3rd, 2023. Okay, this is January 4th, 2023. So you can also change this to a time format if you want. Date format. Okay, this will look better. So now let me move this date column. I will just click and hold the mouse and move it right after this timestamp column. All right. So previously we only have this timestamp column, which is not quite informative because it only tells me how many seconds have elapsed since January 1st, 1970. All right. Now I have this date column, which tells me exactly what's the current time. Okay, so for each date, I'll have have the trading information regarding Apple, the open price, the high price, the low price, close price, and so on and so forth. Okay, so for each date, I will have the trading information for Apple on that particular date. So that's kind of the data set I wanted to set up.